Hello, this is Joe Friedman of ZEHREN-FRIEDMAN Associates. ZEHREN-FRIEDMAN has been providing clients with sales, presentation, negotiation, and influence training globally for over 20 years. Welcome to Negotiating Skills. The ultimate objective of these sessions is to make sure that whenever you negotiate with other people, that you get the best outcomes that you can. The purpose of these sessions is to increase your power when you negotiate with other people. And we can't really go very far without defining these two key words. What is power and what is negotiation? Quite simply put, power is the ability to influence people or events to produce a desired result. Here's another way of looking at it. Think of power as a continuum. At one end, point A, you don't have an agreement. At the other end, point B, you do have an agreement. Power is what allows you to move from point A to point B. Everybody has power. You have power. Your counterparty has power. You can create power by the way you negotiate, by the way you act, by your commitment to collaborating. Yet the biggest mistake that many negotiators make is walking into a negotiation thinking, I don't have any power. That is a huge mistake. It becomes self-fulfilling, and as soon as you give it up, it's gone. Here's how we define negotiation. It is the process of seeking agreement where terms acceptable to all parties are elusive or at least not immediately obvious. Within this definition are terms describing two types of negotiations we see most often, the fixed pie and the expanding pie. You want to try and avoid the fixed pie if you can. It becomes a tug of war or a test of wills. It also has the assumption that if the other party gets what they want, you don't get what you want. Any single item negotiation becomes a fixed pie, whether it's over pricing, some delivery term, or some other item. One word in this description describes the fixed pie, and that word is elusive. Both parties know what the other would find acceptable, but for some reason, an agreement is just outside of their reach. The way to avoid a fixed pie or move beyond one, if you're in the middle of it, is to try and create an expanding pie. The words not immediately obvious describe the expanding pie. What you're trying to do is create options or a solution that neither party brought to the table. The way you do that is to look for things that are tradable. Here's an example. During our classes, we always ask, has anyone ever converted a fixed pie into an expanding pie? We've collected a number of stories over the years. Here's just one of them. The participant was a branch manager at a bank, and he tells a story about going into his office one day only to find a disgruntled small business owner waiting for him. It seems the customer had accrued about $100 of overdraft fees on his business checking account. You need to reverse these fees, says the customer. Rather than engaging in a negotiation, the branch manager asks, can you tell me something about your business? And for the next 5 minutes, the customer tells the story. When he's done, the branch manager says, let me see if I've got this straight, and plays back his understanding. The customer then says, it really seems like you understand my business. The branch manager says, you know, we really can't do anything about these overdraft charges, but I know a couple of people that ought to be customers of your business. Would you be willing to take their names as referrals? At the end of this story, the customer pays the fees, goes away, but most importantly goes away happy. And the reason why, he's got something more important than the $100 or the $50 after they negotiate. He's got the opportunity to do more business. When he was done, I asked the participant, is that what you normally do? Throw referrals at disgruntled business customers? He laughed and said, you know what? I had never done it before and hadn't even thought about it until the customer explained his business to me. The branch manager was able to take a fixed pie and convert it into an expanding pie by finding something that was tradable. That's collaboration. How do you make sure that you've got collaborative outcomes available when you negotiate in the future? One way is to recognize that negotiating is a process. And if that's all you take out of these sessions, you'll get better outcomes in the future. Another area where negotiators make a huge mistake is in the before box or planning. That happens either because they haven't planned at all or they haven't planned effectively. For that reason, in future sessions, we'll overview a 4-step process you can use to make sure that you've planned effectively. You must start with a strategy up front in order to reach the outcomes you seek on the back end. In future sessions, we'll talk about the opening ceremony and the critical role it plays in setting the tone. Whether it's the first meeting or the 20th, we'll overview a number of tools you can use to leverage this step in the process. In future sessions, we'll talk about 2 key skills you need to be good at in order to be a collaborative negotiator. In future sessions, we'll talk about collaboration as well as other tools you can use to devise solutions that fuel your negotiation outcomes. In future sessions, we'll also talk about how to play the game. Our hope is that whenever you negotiate, at the end, you join hands, rock back and forth, and sing Kumbaya. We recognize that's not reality, and for that reason, you need to know how to play the game. In this particular area, we'll talk about a number of topics, including tactical negotiating. Thanks for listening in, and we'll talk to you again.